The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
All right, good morning, Badlandia. Welcome to Badlands Daily.
It really feels like the cat with the laser pointer. It's like you led the cat up to the top of the building, and now you're leading it over the edge.
President Trump is rebalancing trade around the world and making things more fair for the American people.
I think that anytime the deep state can like over-capitalize in whatever situation they have, they're going to.
But the rest of it is a very well-organized and well-funded color revolution operation of the type they run all over the world again and again and again to destabilize entire society.
Echoes carried on the wind. We stepped into a moment where a nation would begin. Powder smoke and rising banners, voices ringing through the flame. We rode the currents of tomorrow, found the dawn of freedom's flame. Raise the flame of revolution, let the old world hear us roar. Freedom rise on every heartbeat, marching louder than before. From the Delaware to glory, soft disclosure.
Wow. Good morning, Badlandia. Welcome to Badlands Daily. Coming in hot at the very last second. Joined by Alpha. How you doing, brother?
Just enjoying the music, baby. Enjoying the music. I was getting my water and stuff. I know where the music's keyed up because I have my speakers turned up loud. And I was like, oh, there it is.
Oh. At least he's not denying it this time. Usually he'll come in with his little psyops and be like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I was in the backstage already.
I know. But I'm saying you didn't flip your camera on. I was like preparing in my head like what I'm gonna say when Alpha comes up with just his little Pepe meme image as his background. I was gonna be like, well, isn't this typical? Isn't this typical? The old Alpha has returned. The old Alpha's back. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Really good.
Yeah, fired up. It's been a hell of a week, man.
Bro, a good week.
It's been a hell of a month so far. August has been a hot month, man.
It's gonna be. It's gonna
get
better.
It's gonna get much better. It's gonna get much better. I'm excited, man. Welcome to the show, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into our sponsors. There's quite a bit to talk about today, and our first sponsor up, guys, we've got our friends over at Unicity.
Do you have belly fat, high blood pressure, cholesterol, or any others on this list? If you're like most patriots, you don't just have one. It's not you, it's your environment. Big Pharma and Big Food have kept us in fat storage and damage mode. That's where Feel Great comes in. Yellow in the morning to extend your fast and burn fat. Orange before lunch and dinner, putting your body into fat burning and relief. Don't wait. Save $70 and take control of your health today at badlandshealth.com. See results in 90 days or your money back guaranteed.
All right, check them out. Badlandshealth.com. What's up?
This right here?
Yeah.
Just so people know. Look at right here. Just so people know, we actually do take this stuff.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The Unicity, I've given that to the wife is a huge fan of that. I have
get her the glass bottle. This is the glass bottle. One, this thing's thick as hell, bro. Like, this is a weapon. Like, this is a weapon. But it's way better than the plastic one.
Yeah, so Christy hijacked that from me, so I only get it like incrementally. She's like obsessed, man. So the next go around, we're gonna get double. So for me and for her, because she's obsessed with it. She loves that stuff, and it's fantastic. It's good stuff, man.
I looked out here. The missus is not a fan of the lemonade flavor. So I got her the pomegranate flavor. She loves that one. So I have my flavor. She has hers.
There you go. That's the key right there, is making sure that you guys have differing tastes in that, and then you ensure that she'll never steal yours. That's a good idea. I gotta change my order. All right, guys, let's also talk about our friends over at Rise of Tire.
Howdy, Badlanders. Summertime is here. What have you got on? Does it support the parallel economy and your favorite brands like Badlands Media and Rise of Tire? If not, then you need to come see us. Soak up some vitamin D in our premium tank tops for men and women, featuring newer versions of the Devolution design in black, red, white, even blue and green digital camo. Yowza, we got them for Psywar, Badlands Native, and Clown World too. How about these bad boys? Psywar, Clown World, and Devolution beach towels to help you spark up a conversation with your new best friend or future spouse at the pool. And by popular demand, we've got athletic women's leggings that'll have you red-pilling all the ladies in your Pilates class, whether they like it or not. Too bad. This is Badlands, baby, and we're strapped. Get some and support the new media parallel economy as much as fucking possible at badlandsmedia.tv/rise.
Right, badlandsmedia.tv/rise. Get you the Psywar with the glitch. Do not get it without the glitch. You have to have the glitch. People will be side-eyeing you everywhere you go if you have the glitch, because it genuinely looks like static. Like when you're walking, it looks like it's like blurry, and people are like, what the heck is that?
What's going on here?
I've had to show people, like I've gotten up close to people and been like, look, it's like blue and then light blue and then green and then yellow, and all of it together, looks white, but in reality, it's actually like a prism, and it makes it look
glitching out.
It's so cool, man. And I get side-eyed everywhere I go from people that just like, you can see them do the double take, because I wear the glasses. So like I can look my head dead straight and I can be looking out the sides, and I'll just watch people and I'll be like, yep, he's staring at my hoodie. He's staring at my hoodie. He's staring at my hoodie. I love it, man. All right, guys, smash that thumbs up. If you have not done so yet, share the show out. Again, you guys hit the thumb. That's awesome. You can also hit that little button, 2-3 buttons over from the right. Don't mess up and hit the export results file or export audit log file by accident. Hit the share button, and you'll understand that joke a little bit later on in the show. We do have to start with some solemn news here. Brooke Taylor on X putting this out. Army confirms 2 people died after an AH-64 Apache attack helicopter crashed, based out of Fort Hood, crashed in Salado, Texas. We were just at Fort Hood last week, blah, blah, blah. So 2 Army officers, I would assume officers, chief warrant officers at the least, crashed in an Apache, and tragically are no longer with us. And that is always somber news to wake up to hear that.
That was a bummer when I saw it, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things, man. Like when you're flying a helicopter, that thing spends its whole time trying to kill its pilot, trying to kill its passengers. It was always the joke that I heard from helicopter pilots. Unlike aircraft, like airplanes, helicopters are incredibly finicky and dangerous. So God bless their families, and thank you for your service, guys. Fair winds and following seas. Another big news from yesterday. Caroline Leavitt has stepped down as White House press secretary. President Trump putting this out on Truth. Our wonderful White House press secretary and one of my most trusted aides, Caroline Leavitt, will be departing her role at the end of the month so she can spend more time with her beautiful young children and family, a decision I totally understand and respect. Caroline will now be one of my top outside advisors, an influential voice within the Republican Party as we work to defy history and conclusively win the midterm elections. Caroline has been a real leader in the White House and has done a phenomenal job fighting for justice, liberty, and freedom since 2018, including our historic re-election campaign of 2024. Caroline has been one of the best White House press secretaries in the history of the office. She was also the youngest. Thank you, Caroline, for your job. For a job well done, President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, the youngest.
We had some good ones. She was the best. Hands down, in my opinion. She was the best. She was a ball of fire, man.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, I respect what she's doing. I think there's more to it, and nothing negative. I think there's more to it as Trump's changing out phases, so he's going to change the lineup a little bit. But even if that wasn't the case, and she's just going to spend time with her family, I would respect that.
Yeah, I mean, like they tried to disparage her. Remember when they were like posting pictures of her at the beach in a bikini, and they were like trying to sexualize her, and like just trying to make her.
They don't want us. They don't want people to look handsome or beautiful.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, your press secretary is hot. What? So you want some raging, fat, nasty, don't give a shit about themselves press secretary? Like, get out of here.
She's also brilliant. Also, we had Sarah Huckabee Sanders as a press secretary earlier in the first administration. So there's that. Followed by Kayleigh McEnany, which was a very made made it a little easier to watch. I'm not a fan of Huckabee Sanders at all, but that's not a surprise. McEnany was also pretty brilliant. So is Huckabee Sanders. She's very
that's what I'm saying. I think they both did a pretty good job. If I had to choose between who did a better job, I think McEnany was a little bit more feisty, which she was more in line with kind of the way Trump's demeanor was during 1.0. But Sarah was they never caught her slipping.
Didn't they have Sean Spicer as press secretary? Point two, and
they did.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. You don't see too many.
I think he was the first one, wasn't he?
Very first one. Yeah, I thought so.
He was the first one.
I thought so. Yeah, Kayleigh McEnany had like an impossible task as press secretary, navigating through COVID, through the 2020 election, through the impeachments. Like, she had an impossible task as press secretary. So, Margot Cleveland put out on X, who should we nominate as the next press secretary? I'll pass on the best suggestions to my high-end sources. So I, of course, tagged Ash, who's in the chat. Ash, when you're press secretary for President Trump, don't forget us small peons. Don't forget us. If you cut me off, I can't do anything, but I will be very disappointed when you're press secretary. Ash would be a phenomenal press secretary.
She would fight. She would fight.
She would fight the reporters. No, she could be professional. She'd be up there and she'd be very, very professional, but she would be ridiculously passive aggressive and condescending at the same time.
I think she would hit somebody.
No.
She would hit somebody.
I don't think so. I think she has the professionalism within her. There's no question she has the professionalism within her. Let me put it that way.
Is he going XX or XY?
I think he stays XX. I think he stays XX. I don't think, throw him for a loop and put out a gay black woman.
Trying to picture
like KJP, Corinne Jean-Pierre. Put up a gay black woman.
He could do a tranny, put Michelle Obama.
I was gonna say trans, but I don't think we're gonna go that far.
No,
I don't think we're gonna go that far.
It ain't going that far. It better not go that far. Even I have some red lines, man. I'm curious. I have a gut feeling he's probably gonna go with the man on this one.
You think, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Stephen Miller.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think it'll be those guys, but I think
it's going to be somebody that we've never heard of or that we're not very familiar with. So Carrie Lake, that would be a great one. AZ Predator Slayer. Carrie Lake would be a great one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be someone we're not familiar with.
Yep. Ash says all press conferences are why we vote now. Yes. 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 I am all good with that. All right. So the other big news, Alpha, guess what, man? Guess what, dude?
I'm all ears.
My pew pew is now going to be a pew.
Oh.
Tomorrow, August 13th at 12:01 a.m., just a few short hours from now, a federal court injunction is set to take place. We sued the ATF and we won, and that means our customers win too. So here's what it all means. If you get a suppressor or an AOW from Silencer Shop in a state that doesn't have any state-level NFA regulations, you can skip the Form 4. Just fill out a 4473, go through the standard NICS background check, and you're good. You can take it home that day, just like any other firearm. That means no Form 4, no registration, no ATF wait times. Super sick, super based, best day of my life. And this is the part that matters. You're getting that protection because you're getting it from Silencer Shop, and we're a plaintiff in the case. The court order covers Silencer Shop customers. So whether you get it from Silencer Shop or from a Powered by Silencer Shop dealer that got their inventory from us, you're good. There's 27 states that don't have any NFA compliance requirements at the state level. So you just do the normal 4473 and you're done. You could get a suppressor in like 5 minutes. But
it's fantastic news. I know this morning. Look, bro, I'll show you right now. Hold on. I'll show you right now. I have it right here.
I don't even have to look because I already know.
I have it right here. A threaded barrel, Apex drop-in threaded barrel for my FN 509. Oh, right there. I was ordering it this morning. Apex 509, FN 509 drop-in threaded barrel. Ordering it this morning. I will have a suppressor. I'm going to try and find a Powered by Silencer Shop local shop to buy one from. If I can, I'll order it online.
For your pistol?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I'm going to have, I posted on X last night. I was like, Christy, I apologize. There's going to be a lot of purchases that are going to be a lot of money that you're not going to approve of, but I don't care. This is something I've been waiting for. Bro, I'm gonna have one for my pistol. I'm gonna have one for my CZ my CZ Scorpion. I'm gonna have one for all of my ARs.
I get short barrel and regular rifles. I get that, or even hunting rifles and stuff like that. I would get that. I just don't get the pistol though.
Why not?
It doesn't seem practical.
I mean, it's what I would use for home defense. That's what I'm gonna. Why, dude? Well, first off, I can keep it right next to me, and something goes bump in the night, it's right there. And I've got lights on it. I've got lasers on it. I don't use.
No, I get all that. I don't get making it longer. Because here's the thing.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't conceal with the silencer on it, but I would when I get home, I would put it on.
I got nothing on me. No, I get that. I just. If you're in the house, that means intruders already came in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just
for my own protection, bro. It's for my hearing. My hearing's bad, but I don't want it to be worse if I ever have to, God forbid, shoot.
No, listen. When I dumped the first two in the first clown that chose the worst decision in their life, I want that pow to let the other two know. Oh shit.
Oh geez, you do know that like silencers aren't like James Bond, like pew, pew, right? You realize that that's still gonna blow out your eardrums even with a suppressor on it.
Are you telling me?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, my weapon system had one.
You make it sound like if I shoot in here, like the person downstairs, the accomplice isn't going to hear that.
But it's not intimidating. It sounds like a damn freaking paintball gun. Like it's a suppressor is not intimidating. I as a matter of fact, I can pull up a video where me and my buddy did it. We did I think I don't know if I was using an M4 and MP5, but I'm using the suppressor and he's using the same weapon system without it. And you could just I mean, it is obviously it's distinct, but the suppressor just if you're trying to be covert, absolutely, I think it's awesome. Outside of that, the sound is, but then again, you drive a car.
I drive a Jeep. I have a Jeep and an Explorer and a Cadillac. I don't have a car. Well, I do have one car, but it's also my car has like 600 horsepower. So I like fast cars. I won't drive a normal car. Like you'll never catch me in like a Civic or a Camry or anything like that. All right. Anyways,
like I said, you drive a car.
Jixer Trickster had the best question. Why not is the only correct question. Why not? And that's what I'm going with.
Because you're not doing any covert operations.
No, I'm doing save my hearing operations, and
you're not caring about your hearing when someone just broke into your house. Plus, the alarm to the house is already going off. There ain't no saving the hearing.
The alarm to my house is me racking the slide. All right, well,
we'll talk more
about suppressors on SitRep, bro.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, okay.
All right. So we have an update. There's a lot of people that have been following this this case.
New K's was the only one that got what I said. So shout out New K's.
What did you say? I didn't even catch it. Is a Jeep not a car? No, a Jeep is not a car. I mean, it's a car in the sense that it's got 4 wheels and an engine. It's an SUV. Yeah.
A Jeep. I'll save it.
It was my wife's, and I love my Jeep, man. I love that thing.
I'm not saying you don't. I believe you.
I love that thing. That thing is fantastic.
I believe you.
Also, the worst car you will ever drive in your life. It rattles, and it's small, and it's got no storage, and it's just you got to be it's a Jeep thing. I used to make fun of Jeep people relentlessly until my wife wanted one. And then decided that she wanted a bigger car. And so I got her the Explorer. And I was like, the Jeep's paid off. Let's just keep it. And now I use it to tow around my jet skis. And dude, I love my Jeep, man. I love that thing.
Well, since you said you used to make fun of Jeep owners, then now I don't feel so bad.
Oh, no, I used to relentlessly make fun of them.
A Jeep is just somebody that's in denial that they're a little, hey.
Yeah, and somebody that drives a big ass diesel truck and doesn't have anything to pull with it is just somebody that's making up for micro penis.
I would agree. I would agree. However,
until you bought one and then you're like, wait, I can't say that.
No,
kind of like me with a Jeep.
No. I would agree that if you don't have something to pull, then yes. And eventually, I'm gonna be able in time to save up and get something to pull. But
all shows are SitRep now, by the way, because we have just gone off base from a news show. All right, let's get back into it, guys. This story here out of Texas, this mother that was a surrogate for a couple in Alaska. So this story, she was in Alaska. The family was in California. They contracted with this woman to be a surrogate for them. And then late in the pregnancy, they found out that the baby had a heart defect and they wanted a late-term abortion. And the mother said, absolutely not, and fled to Texas. Check this out.
Dude, this
legal battle in
what's up?
No, I was saying that this I'll play it and then I'll tell you.
Texas right now over an unborn child with a severe heart defect. The surrogate mother right now is fighting to save the life of that baby Gabriel, with medical treatment. His biological parents, though, are demanding an abortion. Texas AG Ken Paxton has stepped in, getting an emergency court order to make sure baby Gabriel receives life-saving care. Let's bring in Fox News legal editor Carrie Orban right now, who, incidentally, Carrie, has some news to break for us.
I do. This baby was just born today. I just spoke with the surrogate's lawyer, and the baby is off to the NICU, is hopefully going to undergo this surgery that this hospital has a 100% success rate of doing when it comes to children who are born with these particular heart defects.
Did you hear that? 100% success rate. And the family wanted to abort it. And she said no.
But I think the court battle could wage on.
Right. Even after the surgery?
Yes, I do. Well, because there's still this issue of the parents, of the biological parents. They wanted the surrogate to have an abortion when she was diagnosed with at 20 weeks. This baby was diagnosed with this heart defect, but it is a very serious one, but it can be fixed through this series of surgeries that apparently this hospital in Texas is known for doing. And there's been this battle. So she fled to Texas. Ken Paxton intervened in the case. And now the Attorney General's office in Texas is personally making sure that this now born baby is going to receive possibly life-saving treatment and certainly medically necessary treatment.
We should point out that for folks at home that the condition is called hypoplastic neoplastic left heart syndrome, where the left side of the heart, which pumps the blood to the body, doesn't ever develop properly and basically is useless. So the operation reroutes a lot of the plumbing on the right side of the heart so that you feed both the lungs and the rest of the body. But
all right, let's pause there. So did you find that out, by the way, John Roberts, when you were getting your pericarditis diagnosis after taking your 4th booster shot? You derp. You saw that, right?
The crazy part is he probably did.
Yeah.
like realistically, that's probably when he learned about that.
Yeah, that's crazy. But so this story's nuts, and I'm waiting for confirmation. Go ahead. You were going to say something. Go ahead.
So there's the obvious. So the thing is, this brought up some very crazy questions that I had for myself or the audience when I saw this. There's the obvious. We all vote baby lives, hands down. There's no argument there. But I even saw in the chat someone said the surrogate, not the mother. And this is where I wanted to go with this conversation, amongst other things. Why not the mother? The baby, and the reason saying, I have a friend of mine, man, this is probably 15, 20 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Wait. Hold on one second, just real quick. When you say the surrogate, not the mother, what are you referring to?
So someone in the chat said, because you said the mother wanted to keep the baby alive. And
okay. So
somebody in the chat responded, the surrogate, not the mother. Now, I don't know if they're saying it for the purposes of the story, like it was a surrogate
I see what you're saying.
Wanted it. But the point I'm trying to make the conversation is who's more of a mother, the surrogate or the person that, contributed financially and maybe the eggs or however that works out. I think it's the eggs and sperm, and then they put it in the mom. The mom's essentially the host, right? So again, when my friend did it, man, I'm saying this had to be 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't know how popular it was back then, but it was like $300,000 is what she was getting paid. Like, it was a significant amount of money, but there's lawyers, there's all this stuff that goes into play. But I remember her, because I asked her questions, and she had like the emotions that came with that pregnancy, just like because she had her own kids. Yeah, she had her own kids too. And because I remember I was like, is there any difference? Do you feel a difference? And she's like, no. And so then I asked the obvious question, because maybe I'm just weird. I said, do you feel like love and a connection for that baby? And she said, yes, I do. And I said, well, isn't it going to be hard, to give it to him? She's like, no, because I know I'm doing it for a good thing. They've been trying for years and years and years, so there was that. So, but the point I'm trying to make is she felt that connection, that motherly connection, and the baby's growing in her. So, I mean, I feel like there's two mothers here. There's the mother that wants the baby, that, contributes her ovaries along with her partner, right? And then there's the mother that's growing the baby. And so, there's that. And I'm curious to your take on that. The other curiosity I have on this, and this is the one that it is what it is. Like, you got to have these conversations, right? This is a real story. Is, again, hands down, baby lives. I'm pretty sure 99.9% of us all agree on that. But since the quote unquote surrogate mother is the one that's making the decision to give the baby a fighting chance to live, and the quote unquote, mother from the contract and father don't want the baby to live, now the baby goes into the hospital. Who's on the hook for the bills on that? Two, if the baby survives the operation and the baby's good to go, do the original parents from the contract now get to come back in and say, well, now that we know the baby's going to be fine, now we want the baby back? Do you see where I'm going with like all these different dilemmas?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm very curious to your thoughts on that, man.
So I had to look in fact.
And let me just I've adapted adoptive parents feel love too. Hands down, I agree with that. Hands down, I'm a stepfather as well. And to me, adoptive parents, step parents, that's a very special love, because it's two strangers choosing to love each other. So I'm not by any means discounting that. I'm just was trying to make that distinction that a surrogate mom, according to my friend, she felt those emotions too.
So I mean, if the surrogate biological mother and father decide that they don't want the child, there should be a clause in the contract that the surrogate mother, it then becomes her decision, but whatever decision he decides to make, there is no, like, they're waiving all rights to that child and all responsibilities to that child, and it's completely and totally on the surrogate. The more interesting thing at first, Nuke said that they were a gay couple. They're not a gay couple. It's a man and a woman.
It's a man and woman.
Yeah, it's a man and woman. Apparently, they're like Pakistani celebrities. I don't know. It looks like I just playing with the machine. It looks like the parents are a celebrity couple, Nashin Ahmed and Ahmed Hassan. Or am I looking that up wrong? Nashin Gilkar and Omar Ahmed. Never mind. Different families. But yeah, supposedly, I don't know. Nuke had said that they were a gay Muslim couple, but I haven't been able to verify that. But either way, so I think the question then would be, if there's a clause in the contract that would allow the mother to do this. Now, the mother had to flee Alaska, which is interesting. You would expect in Alaska that they would have, protected her. And although I think late term abortion is actually legal in Alaska, and so she had to flee to Texas. Now, this would kind of open up a big dilemma that
I know where you're going.
Yes, like California versus Texas.
Oh, okay. I was going somewhere different.
Oh, where were you going to go? So let me just go where I was going to go, because we talked about this when the states' rights issue, when Dobbs v. Jackson was decided, that you could see potential of conflict between states over citizens of each individual state. Now,
you had the dad in Texas and California with the transitioning.
Exactly, just like that. And the transitioning opens up this possibility. The abortion opens up this possibility. Like, what happens if this case, which took place in California, if California says, Texas, you have to extradite this woman for this abortion, and Texas says, no, come and get her. And California says, well, it's a judicial decision here in California. We're sending in, California Bureau of Investigations or whatever it is, marshals, whatever their agency would be, to go extradite this woman, and Texas Rangers come in and say, no, you're not. And you have a dilemma over that. And this would be a case where you're talking about a baby. There's a very, a fetus, a baby. There's a very limited window where California would be able to, do the abortion before the baby's actually born, and then has, which is insane to even think that you'd have to say this, has all the rights of a U.S. citizen. Yeah, but where were you going?
So where I was going, again, folks, I'm on the side of the baby living,
of course.
But if the argument is that you fill out the contract, and the contract is that the biological donating parents have the rights to this baby, like that's in the contract, and in that contract it says they get to decide whether they're going to complete the pregnancy or not, and that's in there to prevent the surrogate mother from deciding, hey, now I want to do an abortion, right? Well, you can't do an abortion because outside of like a life emergency or something like that, these parents enter into that contract. Well, in this case, you're seeing the surrogate mother, the one that's hosting the new baby life, making the decision, well, no, you guys want to terminate, you're not. So this is where it's one of those legalities where if the surrogate mother gets to say, no, I got the final say, well, then are we still going to hold that same position when all of a sudden the surrogate mother says, I don't want to go through with this anymore, and I want to have an abortion? Because that legal ownership of the decision would be the same there. And so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of like crazy dilemmas that come out of this. I would imagine that you're going to see all kinds of changes in contracts when it comes to surrogacy on something like this. Because again, if the biological donating parents, I don't know what else to call them, right? But if they decide now that, hey, the baby's surviving the operation, they're going to be fine, we want the baby back.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do then?
What do you do?
Yeah, dude, it's a good point. There's going to be a lot of changes now with that after this case right here. In terms of the contracts, I don't know what legally they'd be able to do. That's an interesting point, man. Like, yeah, being a surrogate mother could become a very risky endeavor if things don't go as planned or even close to as planned. I don't know, man, but as of right now, it looks like the baby is alive, kicking in Texas. It's going to get the treatment. It's going to get that heart. So I guess its left side of its heart is underdeveloped, and it's crazy how medical is, man. They're able to reroute the plumbing of the heart so that they can basically bypass what is the left ventricle and work with just one side of the heart. It's fantastic, man. Like, some of the stuff they're able to do is pretty crazy. Let's jump into this story here. So this is probably the big story of the day right here. Just the news. FBI had 14 informants on the Biden corruption, but ran a secret op to dismiss evidence as disinformation. Isn't it funny how it works one way for the Bidens and the deep state and another way against President Trump? This is going to be a bit of a long article. Alpha, stop me at any time. And let's jump into this. A spreadsheet that was recovered by U.S. intelligence agency files shows that spy agencies and the FBI, it's funny they don't put them together because they should be together at this point in time, created a list of more than 6 dozen prominent organizations, Americans, or foreigners who became figures in the Biden family Ukraine scandal and the 2019 impeachment proceedings against President Trump. The spreadsheet neatly divided figures along political lines, with Democrats like the Bidens, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Barack Obama, and George Soros listed as victimized targets of Russian disinformation, and conservatives like Fox News, One American News, filmmaker Michael Caputo, and Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani as conduits for disinformation. So if you're on one side, you're a target of Russian disinfo. If you're on the other side, you are a conduit for that disinformation. It's funny how that works. The FBI also labeled 2 cabinet secretaries, Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, and Attorney General Bill Barr, as well as Chuck Grassley, Senators Chuck Grassley, Ron Johnson, Lindsey Graham, and Representative and House GOP Committee Chairman Devin Nunes and Jim Jordan as conduits, even while they all investigated whether the allegations of corruption were against the Biden family were true or not. These designations were part of a secret counterintelligence operation called Round River, and was launched during the 2020 election by a task force of FBI analysts claiming to be fighting malign foreign influence in the 2020 election. So they launched this during Trump's administration. That is crazy. Round River is
just to interrupt there. If you remember, when we go all the way back to the Mar-a-Lago raid, and the search warrant got released, and there was all that redacted stuff that was in there. And if you remember, I said, hey, in this section of the warrant, these are going to be photographs that we're seeing. And the purpose of these photographs is because you have to land a target when you're executing a search warrant. And what we're going to end up finding is that there was active surveillance on a sitting president as well as those close to him.
That's crazy, man.
This is leading to the confirmation of that.
Yep. Also, I could be wrong on this, but and I don't know if you saw this or not, but was that Nikki Flores, the shadow government one? Was she the one running that foreign influence task force? I thought I saw that reported.
If it was, I didn't come across that one.
I thought I saw that reported.
I'm trying to remember reading it, and I don't remember reading that.
Let me see if I could find it. Nikki Flores. I'm pretty sure I saw.
The other interesting part, while you look for that real quick, is, and I love the way John Solomon said it, is if you were on the side of, Trump, John Solomon, all those guys, then you were the cooperating suspects with Russian disinformation. But if you were on the Biden side, you were the victims of the Russian disinformation. Just absolute insanity, dude.
Yeah, there it is right there. Jeff Clark put it out on X. Kash Patel has disbanded the Foreign Influence Task Force. Remember, it was largely run by FBI manager Nikki Flores, who's caught by Trump in emails bragging to others that she was running a shadow government to keep Trump in the dark about Chinese 2020 election hacking. Yep. So there it was. Nikki Flores was the one running this operation. The foreign.
I wish you would have put a screenshot or some receipts in there. I hate when they say it and they don't show the receipt.
Who, Jeff Clark?
Yeah.
I think Catherine Herridge actually is the one, and she has the receipts. Let me share her screen. I think Catherine Herridge is the one that put it out. FBI director confirms internal review of Foreign Intelligence Task Force. Scroll down here, and we've got at least, these screen pictures of documents. It doesn't mean much, but if it's coming from Herridge,
she has a good reputation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if Herridge is putting it out there. So yeah. Let me see. Does it say Nikki Flores in there? I don't see it. It's just being reported. Yeah, there it is. We're pushing out a note today to all FOs that all election-related IIRs must come through FITF, Foreign Intelligence Task Force, HQ. That's Nikki Flores putting it out there.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah.
At a minimum, she was aware of it.
Yeah, this is gonna be spicy, man. I'm not saying seditious conspiracy and treason, but it's sure looking like that. I mean, anytime you acknowledge running a shadow government from a bureaucratic institutional law enforcement agency under the direction of the DOJ and the President of the United States, and you are acknowledging a shadow government, that is about as seditious as it gets right there. Round River is a mirror opposite of Crossfire Hurricane. The FBI pursued unsubstantiated allegations spread by Democrats that Trump and his allies conspired with Putin to hijack the 2016 election. However, in Round River, FBI analysts sought to dismiss significant evidence in the Bureau's possession, including Hunter Biden's own laptop, pointing to possible corruption by the Bidens. But Hunter Biden's laptop was totally shot by the Israelis. The FBI has identified at least 14 informants who were providing derogatory information on the Bidens. Kash Patel said the Foreign Influence Task Force was terminated on his watch and its activities are now under investigation. So let's get into some of the beef of this Round River. And I'm sure John will talk about this. I think he talked about it yesterday. I didn't get to watch yesterday, but I'm pretty sure he's the documents guy, right? And so I'm pretty sure as soon as this got released, he was like nose deep in that document, just glued to his screen. While the Round River operation was based in FBI headquarters, it directed actions by several field offices, including the FBI's Pittsburgh office, just doors away from the U.S. attorney named by Barr to investigate allegations by one of these confidential human sources who had been providing intelligence for years that a Ukrainian energy executive by the name of Mykola Zlochevsky and his Burisma Holdings company were compromising the Bidens with lucrative consulting monies to Hunter Biden. Now, this was a story that we actually broke on Daily. John found this in the Hunter Biden laptop. If you look at the old Daily setup right there, where I'm not going to go through the thread, but Hunter Biden was in this email thread on his laptop with a guy named Vadim Pizarski, and he was literally going through and negotiating a contract to get high-ranking U.S. officials to say favorable things about Zlochevsky in order to subvert the investigation into him by the prosecutor, Victor Shokin. And literally, they come to terms in the agreement. Pizarski is literally saying, hey, so just to be clear, we're in agreement that we're going to get a top U.S. official saying good things about Zlochevsky to the Ukrainian government, right? And then what did we get? I think it was like a month later. This was in I think October of 2015. I think it was 2015. And then in November of 2015 is when we got the Joe Biden son of a bitch was fired. And I said, you don't think you're going to get the $1 billion in guarantees, which, by the way, USAID, the $1 billion loan guarantees was USAID money.
Literally the textbook version of quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo, yeah. 100%. Well, Venezuela, Valentine's times.
Valentine.
Be my Valentine.
Be my Valentine.
No, dude, that is a textbook. Quid pro quo, pay for play. I'm all over the place too now. See, you're contagious, Alpha. You're contagious. It's textbook. I wrote this article for Gateway using the stuff that John was able to find. And then the most disheartening thing of all was like 6 months later, Fox News comes out and they're like, in an exclusive, look at what we found. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean,
bro,
John's
how do you think me and Josh feel, bro? We've been talking about what's going to happen with the national emergency and the Save America Act and all that. And all of a sudden, Wayne Allen Root comes out, my boy Pete Santilli come out there like this. We're just like, so I feel you on that. But here's the thing: at least people are hearing it, and that's more important. It hurts, but that's more important.
You just pat yourself on the back, and you know deep down, right? When the Federalist is coming out and saying 315,000 Fulton County tapes unsigned, and it's like, yeah, I broke that in like 2022 or 2023.
I picture CannCon on his computer when he sees the Federalists come out and put that breaking. He's like,
breaking. Here, let me go back. That story right there, the 315,000 unsigned poll tapes, was so insignificant in the news that I broke on Georgia that it was just an honorable mention. But it's in there. It was just like kind of in passing. I think it had like 2 paragraphs talking about that, because it was the 315,000 unsigned poll tapes. It was the fact that they weren't giving any poll tapes. It was the fact that they ran ballots through tabulators that weren't allowed to be run through. Like, it was a whole big story. But they just took that one little section and made like this big thing out of it. The other thing was and Federalists did this as well, the Brian Kemp RICO case. That Brian Kemp, Vic Reynolds of the GBI told David Perdue, I'm not going to investigate this because I'm a team player. They came out with that as breaking. That did not get the holy crap, this is huge, because we broke that on Badlands. I broke that through Badlands like 3 months before that, and that was. But anyways, this happens. So I'm glad to see all of this coming out. And again, I don't care. I understand Fox News is a much bigger platform for a lot of normie conservatives that won't see this otherwise. So I'm okay. We can pat each other on the back at GART in private. I'll see Alpha. I'll pat you and Josh, and you guys can pat me, and we'll pat John, and we'll all just it'll be like the Spider-Man meme, but instead of pointing, we'll be patting each other on the back. So. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Reading on, an impeachment probe by the House Oversight Committee ultimately concluded in August of 2024 that Biden engaged in impeachable conduct by helping enrich his family with millions of dollars in business schemes that traded on his name and then defrauded voters by lying to cover up the scandal. The committee specifically cited meetings between Biden and his son's Ukrainian business partners, arguing that the president, quote unquote, actively participated in an influence peddling conspiracy. The FBI used its Round River operation to neutralize or sideline the allegations and the players assisting the investigations, going so far as to denigrate 3 long-term informants by altering their confidential human source files to suggest that they were perpetrators of Russian disinformation. The newly declassified memos show, spelled SHO.
Now, just to understand the gravity of that, the second you do that, every case they've ever been a part of, you have an obligation now to go and pull those files and reinvestigate it. So if they were tied to something that was legitimate crimes, you're talking about legitimate criminals having an opportunity to exit whatever consequences they were there, to say, hey, look, see, we told you these people were bad actors from the very beginning. So not only were they doing a cover-up, they were willing to let people who were legitimate bad people have an opportunity to evade that consequence. That's crazy, bro.
I can remember, Alpha, exactly where I was when I tweeted almost that same exact thing, that when they did this, because this came out in FD 302 a while back, that they were altering their status and changing that around. And I remember saying, holy crap, they're going to have to go back, because they didn't. So what you just said about them changing it, whatever, we didn't know that. We just knew that the FBI discredited them. We didn't know that it was a deliberate, a hoax, that they deliberately changed it in order to deliberately discredit them. We thought it was a genuine discrediting, right? And they were like, oh, well, these FD 302s mean nothing now because they just discredited this guy as a Russian informant. And I posted on X and I was like, this is a big deal, because now they're going to have to go back and look at all the information that they've ever provided to the FBI, the CIA, anybody in the in U.S. government and law enforcement, and they're going to have to go over a fine-tooth comb with all that stuff. They just completely discredited this guy that's been a long-term informant. That's insane.
It's a massive chain reaction, because the other thing is, those are the obvious ones. Those, for me, if I'm a defense attorney, those are obvious wins. My client's walking. There's no argument there. My client's walking. Now, the other ones, and it can go either way, is now you look at, so just so people understand, I'm not going to go into all the details of it, but to make someone a confidential human source or a CI, asset, whatever you want to call them, there's a very, very long, detailed process to do that. And as it should be. So if these prior informants now get discredited as these Russian assets, now you have to call into question the attorneys and the agents that brought them forward. Now, if I'm a defense attorney with other cases, I say, okay, now that we won this, who is this a FBI agent? Who are the attorneys that were involved in this? Because now I get to go and muddy up their decision making. And again, that one can go either way. It's a harder argument, but you still present the case for those arguments. I'm telling you, man, that the problems they created doing this cover up is just, man, it's bad. It is bad.
Yeah, this is a very, very big deal. And like you said, that's exactly why. Let's get into some more of the details about those specific informants. One informant whose work dated back to 2012 began reporting concerns as early as 2015 about the intentions of Burisma and Zlochevsky with the Bidens after the company hired Hunter to its board while his father was still vice president. Quote, confidential human source knows a Russian intelligence officer who told the confidential human source that Zlochevsky is using his relationship with Hunter to get closer to the Americans, the DNI summary memo stated. The IO referred to the relationship between Zlochevsky and Biden as a long-term operation / long penetration, end quote. A second informant whose work began in 2017 and continued through 2022 reported the Biden targeting was part of a larger corruption scheme in Ukraine where Burisma purportedly paid figures through fake contracts. So when they say that Joe Biden's actually broke, no, he's not. Quote, Zlochevsky had an Interpol investigation on him. He allegedly paid Poroshenko $100 million to stop the case against him. The bribe was in the form of shares and guaranteed profits from gas sales in Ukraine. According to a protected subsource, 2 CIA officers took Zlochevsky into the office of Yuri Lutsenko, who was the prosecutor general of Ukraine. The CIA officers allegedly said Zlochevsky is protected by the U.S. and urged Lutsenko to stop the investigation on Zlochevsky and let him back in Ukraine. Now, keep in mind that this is all going on right around the Maidan. This is all going around before, during, and immediately after the Maidan revolution. Like Poroshenko was the first. I think they had an acting president after not Yatsenyuk, that's the bad guy. Yanukovych. After Viktor Yanukovych was out, they had an acting president in there for just a little while. And then Petro Poroshenko was the replacement that came in after him. And that was the guy that was supposedly favorable to he was supposed to be favorable to Russia, but he was not. He was the Nuland guy that was put in there following the revolution. And dude, so now you see the CIA is operating in Ukraine, manipulating the gas company in there, manipulating the prosecutor. The prosecutor, is it the prosecutor general? Yeah, the prosecutor general. And then you have Biden going up there and saying, Obama approved this. If you don't believe me, call him, right? You don't have the authority to do this. Well, here, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If you don't believe me, give him a call. USAID. I mean, this is huge, dude. This is really, really big. Quote, Burisma Holdings owns 13 companies, which are used to pay dividends on investments through fake consulting contracts. The contracts are paid to U.S. investors and funneled through Latvia and the energy sector of Ukraine. Joe Biden and his son, Hunter, have money invested into Burisma. Their investment was passed through a shell company in Latvia. A third confidential human source, according to the memo, purportedly had direct access to Hunter and had discussions about the alleged Burisma corruption. The source had been working on and off for the government since 2008 and provided his Biden intelligence in October of 2019, right as Trump was being impeached by the Democratic-run House. You're going to have sedition. You're going to have treason. You're going to have FARA. You're going to have all sorts of major, major crimes that are wrapped up in this. And I'll tell you, man, it's got to start rolling right now. Like,
not right now.
Let the midterms go. Let the midterms go. But it's got to start rolling right away. Like, this can't be something that we wait until, let's get everything tied up neatly and get everything in a bow. Flores needs to be brought in. She needs to be.
It has to happen between the beginning of January 2027.
Yep.
And leading into the beginning of 2028, because then that's when the biggest fight's coming. So,
yeah. I'm with you, man. Like, that's been the thing that I've said all along, and I think we're getting this leak right now. This not leak, but this expose is taking place. It's going very slow, but it's like a snowball, right? It's rolling downhill and it's gaining momentum. It's gaining steam. It's getting bigger. And eventually it's going to, just roll everything over. And I do think right after the midterms is when all of that is going to start taking place, which is why you're going to see this midterm is going to be very, very exciting. We've already seen a lot of just like brazen, outright, in your face election anomalies that I think will, would add up to fraud. But yeah, go ahead. I didn't know if you wanted to add something there. All right, let's get into this story here. And this story. So on this story, I want to actually go through tonight on Sit Rep. I want to go through this indictment. I read this indictment. I started reading it this morning. I got about a quarter of the way through and was like, holy shit, this is a spy novel. We need to read this. From CNN exclusive, former employee at Southern Poverty Law Center arrested on fraud charges. So it's no longer just the organization as a whole. We're seeing now this is the woman that was sleeping with the neo-Nazi guy, apparently, allegedly. The woman, Heidi Barrick, previously ran the SPLC's project tracking hate groups in the U.S. The Justice Department has alleged that the program, which is no longer running, defrauded donors who did not realize that they were helping to pay individuals inside the same groups that the SPLC aimed to root out. Barrick allegedly, quote, oversaw payments of donors' money, end quote, to people inside the hate groups. She also allegedly shared a bank account with one of those sources, which included funds from the SPLC's payments. Quote, I believe she was part of the effort to open bank accounts in completely fictitious companies' names and make payments to individuals for reasons that were not accurate as described, says Attorney General, not acting, Attorney General Todd Blanche at a news conference. Barrick has been charged as part of a superseding indictment with wire fraud conspiracy to submit false statements to a federally insured bank, and conspiracy to conceal money laundering. The SPLC has fought the case, arguing that the government is mischaracterizing a long-standing informant program designed to gather intelligence on hate groups. Attorneys for the SPLC have also said that the law enforcement officials have used information gathered by the organization in the past. Now, I read through this document, and first and foremost, one of their subsidiaries, Alpha, is called CIA. Like they named it the Center Investigative Agency, and it's referred to as CIA. So throughout the SPLC document, you're seeing CIA did this, which is pretty crazy. But you've got recruiting and maintaining CHS's confidential human sources, going after specific organizations. You've got they're assigning sources, recruiting sources. They're like it's a James Bond novel, man. It's fantastic. We're going to read it tonight.
It's the class action lawsuit. I would be a part of if I was on the receiving end, the criminal side that was on here. Is I'd be like, so let's go back and let's relook at all this, because this was an asset of the government. This operation proves that this was the government attempting to circumvent Constitution by going through a private organization to do the same thing that the government would do, but not be held accountable. Because here's the thing. If you look at the way the Southern Poverty Law Center operated with their version of the CIA, you don't have to use search warrants. You don't have to do all these different things because you're not a government organization. So you're going to have a lot of methods and operations that are deployed that are going to violate those constitutional rights. But the government gets to say, oh, no, we're not the ones that did it. We just got the information from them. But when you can show that there's a long train of abuses, right, you can articulate the argument that, no, this entire thing was a government operation. And then you can go back and look at, does the financial funding coming into the Southern Poverty Law Center, does it run parallel with its cooperation with the government? Because then you get to show that the government was even funding this operation.
Hold on, let me see. So I don't want to give away too much, but I think about the point I realized, like, this is something we need to read on SitRep, is when SPLC had somebody break into one of these hate groups, their headquarters, break into their headquarters, steal 35 boxes from them, bring them to their headquarters, SPLC, copy them all, and then go back and put them back in the hate group's headquarters so that they never knew that they were documented. I mean, and if you can show, like what you were just alluding to, if you can show there's coordination there with government agencies and government entities, that is subverting the Fourth Amendment.
100%.
And that is, I mean, heinous. Like that is, I'm telling you, bro, it's
and just so you know,
a spy movie, man.
Everything I said, that's me going through what you would need for a jury to be convinced. The probable cause is even simpler than that. And just to bring it to a simple, if I know that there's a house, let's just say weed was still illegal, and let's just say there's a house that I know has weed plants in the back, but there's no way that I can get in a position to say that and prove it. And I go and tell the neighbor, and he'd be like, if you happen to look over your fence and you saw weed plants and you called and told us, then I could get rid of that. You don't have to have that smell anymore in your backyard. And they went and did it. Boom. Me doing that simple act and then them going and doing an action from that, they're an asset of the government. We violated that person's Fourth Amendment right.
Yep. Oh man. It's is this, where does this rank on the house of cards, right? SPLC as an NGO that's acting as a subsidiary of the intelligence apparatus. And if they get brought down and, so does the DOJ sweep that under the rug, or is that a facet of this case that they're going to pursue, that there was intelligence handling here?
They're going to pursue it. Do they use it for charging, or do they use it to support other cases? I'm still up in the air for that. But you're gonna see again. You're gonna see, as at the end of the day, what you're gonna come away from is they're gonna show that the SPLC was a criminal organization.
Yep,
is what you're gonna see. And then the reason it's important to identify that is because any other federal agency that SPLC worked with, well, now you start tying these people into the web of a larger RICO criminal organization. And so what I see when I look at this through the lens of what my experience is, all these different things going on, is I see them building the foundation of what's coming, and it's massive, man.
Yeah. Let's pause.
Here's the thing. You got to have a lot of damn employees to get this done in the window that it needs to get done in. So
absolutely. Let's pause here for just a second. We'll get back to that. But I do want to talk about a sponsor, guys. Why do frozen drink machines either cost a fortune or they end up being something that you use once and you forget about? That's why I have been using the Slush Ease Max from Chef Man. And honestly, I was surprised at how much this feels like one of those high-end machines, like the ones you get on you go to what was the restaurant that back in the day, the college bar drink that had all the drink machines, the frozen slushies, and they're so good. Yeah, this is way better than that, guys. The best part, there's no ice needed. It has a built-in freezing system, so you just pour everything in and it handles the rest. It's super easy. I've been using this thing for everything. You can make frozen coffee with it, smoothies, cocktails. When people come over, and it's dude, this thing is amazing. The 90-ounce capacity is perfect if you've got friends or family around, and you can make a full batch in just one go. And this is like totally a legit thing, man. I can't tell you. My wife makes pina coladas and strawberry daiquiris, and this is something you can actually use year round. You go down by the pool, you put it in I put it in like these Stanley cups here, like fill one of those up because it stays icy, and you just sit in the pool and drink a slushie. It's so relaxing, man. You can use this year round. It definitely beats spending money at frozen drink spots all the time. If you've been thinking about getting a frozen drink machine, I think you will be impressed with the Chefman Slush Ease Max. You can get 25% off right now. Just go to chefman.com. Use promo code Badlands. Again, that's chefman.com. Use promo code Badlands.
And if you're unfamiliar with these guys, for the rest of us that have awesome. own some part of their equipment, whether it's the blender, whether it's the temperature probes, they make quality products. I'm telling you guys right now, I have been impressed with everything that I've gotten from these people. They're solid. You know, a lot of times we're like, I want something, but it's only gonna last me a year and it's gonna break. This stuff is solid. So massive shout out to the people out there that are building this stuff. They do quality work.
Dude, my wife uses the convection oven. She uses that thing for everything. Like when if we make like a one of those frozen pizzas, because every once in a while we get home at like 9 o'clock and we're like, man, we're really hungry. What do we want? So we get one of those like frozen pizzas, throw that in there, does that. It tells you like it's linked with your phone, so it tells you like the timing, it tells you the temperatures, everything.
Did you get the special edition probes?
Oh yeah, the USA ones, the 250th ones.
Yes.
Yeah. The slush machine, the Ice Daddy. That's what Ash calls it, the Ice Daddy. I think it's called the Iceman Pro, but Ash calls it the Ice Daddy, and so we've kind of adopted that here, which sounds really weird, me saying it. But so if it's the Ice Daddy, I'm gonna call it the Slushy Mama, the Slushy Mama, and the Ice Daddy. Anyway, chefman.com, promo code Badlands, bro. So the SPLC thing is really is crazy to me, Alpha, because like of all the NGOs out there that they could have went after first, I did not see the SPLC being the first one. And here we are. And it's way worse than any of us ever could have imagined going into it.
They swung for the fence on this one.
Yeah, they did.
You know, like I said, building the foundation, but here's the thing, all the smaller ones are just like, we're cooked. We better cooperate because we're cooked. Because look at, I'm just telling you, my speculation is sometime within the next year, if not sooner, you're probably going to see organizations like Catholic Charities and Jewish Family Services
shut down.
Not shut down.
Oh, they'll shut down first,
but get investigated.
Well, I think they'll shut down first, and then they'll try. Maybe, but they're definitely going to be investigated. You're going to see. So one of the things that was, in that continuing resolution was the grants, continuing funding for the grants with no traceability. And I think when you go back and look at the Biden administration and the grants that went out under like the Green New Deal and all that, and right, Stacey Abrams affiliated group down in Georgia getting $2 billion when before that they had $500 in their bank account. Like that is not how you do something like that, right? Like never in a million years should an organization with $500 get a $2 billion grant from the federal government. That's insane. And you're going to see a ton of these organizations start being investigated, and it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad that the only way to fix it, and I think that's why they're trying so hard to get this in the continuing resolution before a new Congress comes in, is you're going to have to shut it down completely. You're going to have to stop all funding to these NGOs through the federal government, because you don't know. Once you start like seeing SPLC, Act Blue, once you start seeing, the energy companies that are energy NGOs out in Colorado and California and New York that have been receiving hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, you're just gonna be like, we can't let this keep going We can't investigate them fast enough. It's you're gonna need a kingmaker, man. You're gonna need King Trump. You're gonna need, you know, whoever's the A team on this. You're gonna need them to go on for a long time to clean this shit up.
Well, the other thing too is, do you think that this woman is not talking?
Of course.
And listen, the chief financial officer, this is the person that gets to tell you exactly how they did it. So I'd imagine that conversation went something like this with her and her attorney present. A folder slid forward, evidence to show a timeline of events, money that she specifically benefited from it, and then the terms, the maximum sentences for each one of these, and delivered as a separate count. And they said, listen, you're looking at a total amount of time that's longer than you've been alive and longer that you will be alive. So you can get the 100+ years, or you can get 5 years, 7 years, and tell us everything. And these are white collar criminals. So these people talk.
Yeah, they don't want to, unless they're intelligence assets, then they just hope that they can kick the can down the road and wait until this administration is gone. And that's part of the problem right there, is that, you know, this is a problem that has seeped its way into our society and into our nation over the course of decades, 50, 60 years that it's taken to get to the point that we're at now. Maybe even longer than that.
To that point, and I've shared it with you, and I know you're aware of this, and I did see a comment earlier. I was like, address it, don't address it. But here's what I'll say, and I shared this with the Colonel last night on Gladio, is we all want these arrests now, like these massive arrests. And I'm there with you guys. I want it too, but I understand why we don't. The second you start to pick off people one at a time, like right now, this is actually signaling the direction of where the DOJ is going. So even though we're happy to see this, the other thing it tells me is we're much closer to what we all want. Because if you start arresting, let's just say Brennan now, and this guy here, the order in which you do that, especially because those indictments are going to come out, it's public information once this stuff goes to trial, you tip your hat to exactly where you're going with this. So now all the people that haven't been arrested yet or indicted yet, now they know how to do the cover up. Now they know what witnesses to kill. Now they know what criminals to kill to make sure it doesn't get to them. For instance, they know what this CFO now can give up. So if this investigation wasn't done with the best amount of secrecy possible, this woman probably would have died in a car crash, or she would have died from cardiac arrest and never would have got that information. So just understand, and I kind of said what I did in a much smaller scale when I would do these very, what was large for us, you know, these gang injunctions where we targeted an entire organization of a gang, is we hit them all at the same time. You're talking months and months and months of an investigation to hit everybody. There's so many targets, you got to bring in multiple agencies because you don't have enough with just the task force, and you hit them all at once. This prevents the destruction of evidence. This prevents the, you know, or at least the attempt of, you know, because you can always still do it, but it minimizes, you know, how much is going to get destroyed. This being a RICO case, which operates in that manner at a much larger scale, you're going to see, you know, because I always see people, zero arrests, which one? That's not entirely true, but for the purposes of, but for the purposes of the argument, I'm going to give that to you. But then I want to see you when they do start coming in, and that thing looks like a speedometer that's going because that is what you're going to see pop off.
Yeah, when you go back and look at, you know, going back to the Burisma stuff that's coming out and the Round River and all of that stuff, it's not coincidental that Hunter Biden's out on this massive media tour. It's not coincidental that Hunter Biden is trying to be the darling child of, you know, the populist left, and, you know, saying all the things against the government and getting all these people to be like, Hunter Biden's totally based, man. Like, this guy's really cool. And then what was the other thing that he said the other day about his dad? Oh, you know, the one thing I wish about my dad is I wish he would take the cancer and actually talk about the pain and actually, you know, say, and then he's like, it's metastasized into his bones and into his everything. And it's way worse than he leads on, but he's a really tough son of a bitch. And he just keeps pushing. Right. he's going to be dead in very, very soon. Hunter, they think they can probably work around him, but Joe is cognitively gone. He would leak too much. He would say too much. And he would also, perhaps, the same way they tried to turn the screws on General Flynn by using Mike Flynn Jr., they would do the same thing to Joe Biden. They'd be like, we're going to rail on Ashley Biden and Hunter Biden and all that and try and get him. And he's a liability at this point. And so I think his days are numbered. And Hunter Biden, it still doesn't. It's not beyond me that something could happen to Hunter Biden, but I don't think so.
So you've seen the conversation surrounding. He's worn the same shirt on every interview.
Yeah,
you've seen that,
the
right?
denim shirt. Yeah.
So is he trying to sell himself as the blue collar worker? Because you have that image of it, or because the observation I made is that's the same color of a prison shirt.
Yeah.
Usually on the back of that shirt, it says, state prison inmate or property of, plug in whatever state. So which one is it? I don't know. Or maybe the dude just got one shirt. I don't know. I find that there's a choice that's being made to do that.
I don't know. There's definitely I shouldn't say definitely. There could be some symbolism in wearing the same shirt repetitively like that. Am I captured? Do I have, whatever the case might be? President Trump in that whole Hunter Biden story, he has the only legitimate pardon out of all of the auto pen pardons. Hunter Biden's is the only one that was signed by Joe. And we've always kind of suspected that there's a lot of things that Hunter has done deliberately or unintentionally that have benefited the Trump administration in some form or fashion. You got to wonder, but Joe's days are numbered. I'll tell you that.
I agree.
I think probably before the midterms, we're going to hear that Joe Biden is in hospital.
Joe's going before Mitch, bro.
I think Mitch is already gone. Just my take.
I'm with you, but
maybe before we know,
still weekend at Bernie's, bro. Just vote.
Fair enough. So yeah, just to wrap up the SPLC segment here, Kash Patel just did put out that she was arrested today, charged with crimes including wire fraud, conspiracy, basically what we already read, but hearing it from Kash's account right there. So yeah, she'll be singing like a canary here pretty soon. All right, so the next story, I don't want to play this clip. I'll just talk about it because I can't stand listening to Benny Johnson. But Ron Johnson came out and acknowledged now that Dr. Fauci, fake doctor, Fraudchi. I say doctor because it's just like subliminal, like it's like the military thing, like generals you call sir, like it's embedded in our head. Like he's a doctor, got to call him doctor. He is not a doctor. He does not deserve the title of doctor. Fauci, 34,000 emails, 520 text messages, 522 voicemails, deleted all of his contacts except Walensky, Murthy, and who was the third one? Walensky, Murthy, and I think Burks, but deleted all of his contacts. So nobody could figure out who is who in that whole mess right there. We kind of knew that when we covered that story, the pregnancy thing and the Pfizer vaccine and all that. It said that in the article. Now Johnson is coming out and saying we're trying to go through and link names to text messages, or numbers to people through the text messages to figure out what's what. That in itself, though, could be a crime right there. Alpha, I'm curious to get your take. Deleting contacts in your phone to obfuscate a criminal investigation.
One, I would definitely. My opinion is he absolutely did it to destroy evidence, but it's right in par with the emails. When did he do it, and is it consistent with the position? If he did it when he was leaving the position, and it's common practice to annihilate a phone before it goes to the next person, well, then it's hard to make that argument. In the absence of that,
it's a good.
In the absence of that, then 100%. 100%. But the thing that makes it lean more towards the fact that he was destroying evidence is he did retain some contacts. So if you're doing a clean sweep on a device, you wouldn't retain any information. It'd be a clean sweep. So it based off
So it
that,
wasn't
it
like a
doesn't.
reset.
Yeah.
Oh, well, all the text messages would have been gone too. No. Oh well, I guess you have to maintain those.
Like I said, there's the SOPs are going to come into question, and I would imagine that if they're doing this and they're putting that out, it's because there is no SOP to support it. Because I don't think they do it to make themselves look stupid. So,
Gotcha. All right, let's jump into we'll talk about some soft disclosure before we get into some election updates, and softdisclosure.com, promo code FRESH.
Soft Disclosure deodorant is made with purity-tested ingredients like organic arrowroot powder, magnesium hydroxide, and nourishing plant oils. This deodorant keeps you fresh without covering up the truth. Activated charcoal works like a magnet to help draw out impurities, while green matcha tea brings antioxidant power to protect and calm skin. Aluminum-free, stain-free, and formulated to last up to 2 months of daily use.
Whole bus fresh, no steak on me. Soft disclosure got me clean. Fresh so loud, can't compete. Mint, lemon, grapefruit, lavender tea.
It helps fight odor without blocking the body's natural sweat. And every purchase helps support 6 American small businesses. Buy 2 deodorants, get a free lip balm. Or visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code FRESH for 15% off.
What are you doing?
Soft disclosure got me clean. Fresh so loud, can't compete.
I love that last part.
J-Triad has terrible situational awareness, man. Like you can hear Madame Margie's footsteps walking up clear as day, and he
was in
just
the
doesn't
zone.
react. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing there on the internet before the internet existed. He's too old for the internet when he was that age, or he's too old to be that age and have the internet. I mean, that was just kicking off when I was that age. So. Let's reset real quick. Softdisclosure.com, promo code FRESH. If you have not done so yet, smash that thumbs up. Click the share button. We got a little over 767 thumbs. We can do way better than that. Let's get into some election news here. Just the News put this out. Dire Democrats. Socialist surge forces moderates to reclaim party to compete against Trump's GOP. It is not Trump's GOP, folks. I mean, it is, but it's not. The GOP is its own demon that needs to be exercised as well. So talking about Francesca Hong, the state rep that lost to what's his name? David Crowley in Minnesota, Wisconsin. It says Hong, dues-paying member of the Democratic Socialists of America, lost to David Crowley by the establishment David Crowley by a slim margin of 3,200 votes. She drew scrutiny for past social media posts calling to abolish the police, cancel Thanksgiving as a colonialist holiday, and other far-left positions, including abolishing ICE. By the way, those have been Democrat positions for like the last 6 years. Just throwing that out there, because they had to push so far away from Trump and the MAGA base that they had to take these extremist positions, and now it has become a stronghold of them. This is their positions. Abolishing police. We all remember that. That started during the Obama administration, carried over into President Trump, and that's when they really embraced it following the quote-unquote summer of love. Cancel Thanksgiving. We've heard that so many times, and other far-left positions like abolishing ICE. Again, they are making this their platform. The big tent, right? Moderate Democrats are increasingly distancing themselves from the party's progressive and DSA wing through public messaging shifts, separate fundraising channels, and other sharp policy disputes. Groups like Third Way have launched multi-million-dollar efforts, including opposition research and ads, to discredit the democratic socialism, while centrist lawmakers promote pledges affirming for capitalism, law enforcement, and fiscal discipline over calls to abolish police or enact sweeping socialist reforms. By the way, they've done none of those things. They've never supported capitalism. They've never supported law enforcement, and their fiscal discipline is crap. When I say never, I mean in the Trump era. Fundraising networks including pro-Israel donors have poured resources into establishment candidates against left-leaning rivals. In June, a group of 13 or 15 House member and candidates launched the Promise America initiative, which declares that, quote, "We are capitalists, not socialists," while supporting fiscal discipline, strong borders, public safety, and pride in the United States. Does anybody actually believe Democrats? Like, that's always been the thing for me, Alpha, is if you're driving down the road and you see a car with an American flag on it, you can be like, that guy probably voted for Trump.
Not probably, bro.
Yeah, most likely.
Dude.
As long as it's a flag and not like some like coexist, or like it doesn't have like the coexist logo on it or some shit like that.
I saw a car. It was a Tesla, right? And it said something like the bought before Elon, or it was whatever that comment was. So as soon as I saw it, I was just like flaming libtard. Like, as a matter of fact, I y'all gonna judge me. I think I took a picture.
I took a picture of a car with an NPR sticker on it and was like, how pathetic do you have to be to put a mainstream newsprint outlet on the bumper of your car? And that's the only bumper sticker you got. Like, maybe they write for them, right? Like, I have a Badlands Media sticker on my Jeep. Christy has one on her Explorer. Maybe they write for NPR, and I just didn't think about it. But this was right around the time when they called me and John QAnon influencers, and I was like, because we believed the Epstein, that dog didn't bark, the dog that hasn't barked. They NPR wrote an article about me and John on that coverage. Do you have it?
So I have the car, but because they had a couple of things on them. So this isn't the Elon thing. Actually, no, this is a different car, because I remember it was a completely different color. Oh yeah, this ain't even a Tesla. But nonetheless, this is on the side window. Let me see if you can see what it says.
ICE is killing people like you and me. And I'd be like, well, you and me are both still alive, so no, they're not.
First of all, it was a white ass lady driving that car, bro. I was like,
just tell her Norwegians aren't very high on the list of deportees.
so I was just like, so of course we come to a red light together. And I put the YMCA song on my truck and cranked that bitch up. And I was just in my truck doing this. I don't even know if she could see me because I'm way higher up than she was, but I know she heard it. I know she heard the YMCA song.
All right, well, let's get into. I want to talk some more about the election in Wisconsin. I wrote a follow-up. We had Clay on yesterday to talk about it in the morning. More information came out since that, so I want to clarify some things, but also I want to talk generally about the absolute turmoil in the Democratic Party right now. And I think we're going to see it with the Republicans. I think we're going to see it. It's coming up. But here's Jen Psaki. We're going to play about 10 seconds of this.
Okay, I know we've been talking about this, but it's just worth restating that most polls headed into Election Day showed Democratic Socialist Francesca Hung with a very safe double-digit lead in the Wisconsin gubernatorial primary. And she could certainly still win. But as you can see, with a little more than half of the vote in, Francesca Hung is down to the establishment-backed candidate David Crowley.
All right, so there's video number one. All right, now this is the one that's just like mind-blowing. And again, I want you guys to look at this. Don't think Democratic Socialists. Don't just look at this as two candidates and look at the narratives that were put out before the election, and then look at what the results were.
Last night's primary is also significant because it showed another example of polling largely getting things way wrong. The presumed frontrunner in Wisconsin's Democrat primary for governor, Francesca Hung, lost to David Crowley, but she was leading in about every poll. The last poll had her up 22 points right before. Legendary pollster Frank Luntz, writing on X, I am calling for a total and complete shutdown of primary polling in the Midwestern U.S. until we can figure out what the hell is going on. And Polymarket's betting odds gave that presumed frontrunner a 96% chance of winning. They have deleted that prediction. So joining me now live, pollster and communication strategist Frank.
All right, we don't need to get into Frank Luntz and his take on it. He's basically calling for the abolition of polling. Like a pollster is like, we suck. We suck. We need to get rid of this, right? Wisconsin famously in the 2020 election said Trump was going to lose by 17 points, and he ended up losing by like 0.17 points, something like that. Very similar. And I just want to remind you guys real quick, Pat Kolbeck put this out on X, because it's not just the DSA that you're seeing this phenomenon with. In his race here, Lisa DeMuth ends up winning 43% of the vote to 32%. Lindell got 32%. But if you look at the polling leading up to it, Lindell was up 6 points, 9 points. Here was a poll that was actually sponsored by him where he was up 6 points. Minnesota Private Business Council had DeMuth up. That's the only poll that had DeMuth up. Survey USA +5, and then 2 other ones that had Lindell up as well. And so you're seeing, and Lindell would be, the outlier, right? He's the outlier from the GOP. The GOP hates him. Same with Francesca Hung. The Democrats, the DNC hates the DSA. They hate them. This is why I've been saying, you guys, misery acquaints strange bedfellows, a man to strange bedfellows. Not saying you need to be like, let's root for the DSA, but you need to weaponize the DSA the same way that we have been weaponized into election integrity, that we've been activated. I shouldn't say weaponized. That's a terrible word to use. Activated. And I'm trying to get this going, man. Like, DSA, wake the bleep up. They stole it from Bernie in 2016 or 2015, technically. 2016. They stole it from Bernie in 2016. They stole it from Bernie in 2020. They are trying to, and I mean the Democrats, not whatever. They're trying to do the same thing now. That Francesca Hung was the first was the first DSA candidate that the establishment Democrats like outwardly were like, no, we're not doing this. Statewide race, can't have a DSA governor. I don't think she would have won. I think it would have been the best thing for the Republicans is that she would have been the nominee on a ticket. That would have been the best thing. They know that she never would have been able to beat whoever the Republican candidate is. But then they pull the shenanigans. I'll let you comment on that before I get into the election.
No, I don't disagree. If anything, Mondami's probably created more fear for them, because the Mondami ripple effect has kind of gone through the rest of the country of, if we think things are going to be okay, that's the wild shit that's coming. And so, yeah, you let someone that's hardcore socialist-ish get into it, then yeah, you're gonna bring people out to vote by sheer fear. But if you can bring in a Democrat that doesn't seem so wild, then maybe these other Republicans will just stay home. So no, I agree with you completely on that.
Yes, it is. And again, I think, I was listening to some clips that somebody had posted from Hassan Piker. I was listening to some clips that he was talking about the Hung race, and I'm like, I'm waiting for one of these Democrat, communist, lunatics to come out there and be like, are our elections fair? And no, they're not. They're coming out and they're like, we just need to activate more voters. And it's like, dude, like, how much more obvious does it have to be? And let's jump into that part. So we played Kornacki yesterday. We played some of the more moderate clips of him. This is the more crazy clips. I put these in an article I wrote yesterday for Gateway.
I guess the exact thing, yes, is if 5 of the USB sticks were missing results from the election, so then they have to go try to re-grab them.
Just saying.
Yeah, and they're all the folks behind the scenes are talking about this as well, so we can also look. It's unfortunate.
The folks behind the scenes here, you're saying?
Yes.
Are how do I ask this artfully?
I guess
he's so dumbfounded, bro.
He's like, I don't even know what to say.
He's
Wait. So the sticks are happening again. We're doing this again. I'm with you, bro. He's just like, there's one more clip. This one's a little longer, so we won't play the whole thing. I'll probably click around in it, but same concept. He's literally on air, and instead of talking to the audience, which you can do like the breaking coming in, but he's literally talking through his earpiece to his producers through the camera instead of the audience. It's mind blowing the meltdown that they're having over this 5 USB stick.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
He's not talking to the audience right here.
No, he's communicating with the guy that's telling them,
this is what you got to say.
Yeah.
You got to say this.
Here's let's look at it.
And he's now looking at his producer over there, or the guy that's with him doing the computer stuff, because he knows that he's hearing the same thing, and whatever they're hearing is not something that they're like comfortable saying.
This way, we're kind of indefinitely waiting for them to get their act together here and get the sticks and bring them back and go on. And we've got folks here who are working real late, and I don't think we want to, keep them here to, this could go 90 minutes, and it's 90 minutes of me saying, have you heard of any other athletes running for Congress?
It's funny, Alpha. It's funny that in the 2020 election, they were prepared for the 6-hour delays in counting. Here, they're like, what do we do? I can't think on my feet for this long. I did it in 2020 because it was planned, but I did it in 2020, but I can't do it now.
It's like I know we've come so far here. It's been 4 hours since polls closed. It's been an unbelievably interesting and intense night here, and it really is coming down to this one giant, update in Milwaukee. But man, we waited 90 minutes for them. They did this whole procession, and then they find out there's nothing on the sticks. And yeah, so it's just my way of saying I'm just trying to say the audience here, so I'm not abruptly ending on them, just why we're doing this, because the audience has been with us for 4-6 hours in some cases for this moment that didn't happen, and so folks, I think we are gonna wrap it here for the reasons we're saying here. Just, but I want you to know I hate doing this to you, because you've been. I know you're here for results, and we've come to the point where it's like one thing away. I hope you understand that we just. We got to let everyone here has been here for a long time, and
the most dramatic hot potato I've ever seen, bro.
This is fantastic. This is so great to watch.
He's like, y'all ain't getting me to do it. You ain't getting me
I'm
to
just
do
trying
it.
to.
His producer saying, if you don't say this, don't even show up tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, I need.
You got to stay on the air.
So this is okay. So folks, here's what's happening. I'm doing this is sort of a cut-in thing. I have to. They're gonna. Let me set this so it's.
Can you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Producing the producer, Melissa. Do we want to do Wisconsin results in these updates, or how do we want to parse these out? Okay.
Okay, so we're doing this is like kind of a cut-in thing. We're gonna tape here that they're gonna insert into News Now. So if you'd like, you can watch us put this together.
Dude, the way he's doing he's so damn nervous, bro.
Oh man, this is fantastic. So again, I don't know how much you know about the story that took place in that election, but they get down to central count. 5 out of the 9 USB sticks only had the vote, the audit logs downloaded to them. They didn't have the ballot, the election results. And so, right. Well, so Clay, we had Clay on yesterday morning to talk about this as the story was breaking, and we did not have all the information. So we were kind of speculating yesterday. Are we talking about precincts to the central count, or are we talking about central count to the RTR, to the results tabulation? Where are we at in this process? Now, we kind of focus more as if it was precinct to central count. In actuality, it was central count to the RTR, to the results where they tabulate the results. What we found out, going after that, I'd been talking all day yesterday pretty much, is, I wrote a story about this yesterday for Gateway, and I was able to get the manual that they actually use for the ES&S DS 850 machines. And I just want to show you guys, remember, they told us 5 out of 9 people downloaded the audit log instead of the export results by accident. Now, Alpha, if you are going to be exporting results, if you are a trained election official and you're operating on the machinery, remember, they had the export audit log. They had the audit logs on the USB sticks. So they 100% got to this screen on those machines. What do you think on all those buttons right there, Alpha? Which one do you think is most likely going to contain election results?
Well, with all my advanced training to use this system, I would say the very top one that says export for results. Now, I just want to remind everybody, I can make that decision because the vast amount of training I got in this machines, which totals an amount of 0 seconds of training.
Well, you're getting trained now. And Alpha, if you ever get to this stage after exporting your results, what does it read at the top of that window box right there?
Confirm exporting of results.
Okay. And then let's just confirm one more time. What does that box say at the top?
The results were successfully exported.
Okay. Now, what does it say on this one? If you see that at the top, what does that say?
Export audit log. The audit log was successfully exported.
Now, Alpha, are audit logs results?
No, they're not.
They're not. So they want us to believe. Now, to be clear, there is some concern because that's a 2012 manual right there. So there is some discrepancy whether the machines that they're using now say export results or export election files. Okay. And that would be inclusive. Either way, the odds that 5 out of 9 people did this is inexplicable. It's impossible. It's impossible. Now, I will go to this article that was put out by VoteBeat yesterday on this situation, which is totally a establishment prop up of nothing bad happened here. And it talks about the Claire Woodall-Vaugh era of Milwaukee elections in 2020 through 2024. And says the process that Woodall-Vaugh created to prevent future such errors, meaning the errors with the USB sticks during the 2020. Well, let me read this whole section so you guys get the context. In November 2020, after arriving at the county clerk's office to transmit Milwaukee's election results, then city election chief Claire Woodall, I guess she dropped the VOG, realized that she forgot one of the facility's 12 flash drives containing vote results at central count, a mistake some conservatives seized on as flagrant oversight. That led her to create a checklist that the city has used to avoid similar errors, outlining over 24 steps for extracting, securing, and transmitting election results. 4 years later, at the next presidential election, Milwaukee election officials made the extraordinary decision to count 31,000 absentee ballots all over because some staff did not lock tabulator doors in the early morning. Those panel doors, which cover the on-off switch and sometimes a slot for USB drives, were supposed to have been locked during counting. Guys, a USB is probably the most vulnerable point on any computer system. We've had Mark Cook on Why We Vote. I've been on shows with Mark Cook where he has programmed a USB drive, puts it in a computer, and you watch it run the scripts in very quickly, right? And I remember one time I was on a show with him and I said, Mark, when you run that in there, it's showing you that the script's being run. So whoever plugs that in, whether knowingly or unknowingly, when they plug that into the system, do they know that script is being run? And he says, I'm only doing this for the exhibition part of this. This script would happen instantly, and you would never see a pop-up alerting you that a script is being run, that something is being done to the system. And so keep in mind, whenever you see anything with USBs, immediately red flags should go flying in the sky. So it goes on to say the process Woodall created to prevent future errors included a single official extracting results from each tabulator while accompanied by other staff. Officials appeared to have followed this process in November 2024, but not this time. Instead, different staff members downloaded the files from different tabulators and did so inconsistently, not realizing results were not properly exported from 5 of the tabulators. So again, going back to the point that we were making earlier, you had 5 people. They deviated from the way that they were supposed to do it, the way that aspect of the election worked properly in 2024. They deviated from that in 2026, just 2 years later, and had individuals going to each tabulator and doing this. And 5 of them were so retarded that they chose export audit logs instead of either export files or results. I don't buy it.
Nope.
I don't buy it. And, Alpha, if this was like the first time it ever happened, and
I still wouldn't buy it.
Hold on. And it wasn't a controversial candidate like Francesca Hung, and it wasn't a determinative action, right? Like she didn't flip the race until after that, because 3 out of the 5 were from very, very heavy Crowley areas. The other 2, the reporting I saw doesn't say who it favored, but 3 of them were heavily favored for Crowley. If all of that was thrown out and it was just the 5 USB sticks, I still wouldn't buy it. But I definitely don't buy it with all that other shit added in there.
I'm not buying it, man.
And again, election integrity is nonpartisan. I don't give a shit if she's a Democratic Socialist. I don't care. I don't care if it was Karl Marx. Election integrity is number 1, and it is an entirely nonpartisan issue. You cannot have these errors happening over and over and over again, period. Doesn't matter if it's Trump, doesn't matter if it's Putin, doesn't matter if it's Karl Marx, doesn't matter if it's frickin' Adolf Hitler. Election integrity number 1. That's all I got.
Not going to disagree with you.
All right, we got some integrity out of Texas, though. Texas mail ballot ID requirements restored by federal appeals court. This is a big decision because this could pave the way for other states as well to do similar things. The Fifth Circuit U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals restored several pieces of 2021 Texas election laws that overhauled mail-in and assisted voting, overturning a lower court's block. 5 years ago, Texas passed Senate Bill 1, particularly aimed at initiatives Harris County implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic. The law was denounced by voter advocacy groups, civil rights organizations, and Democratic lawmakers who broke quorum in an attempt to stifle that bill. You remember that? When Texas Democrats were like, we're not coming in to work. And they're like, we're going to arrest you if you don't. And they did arrest a couple of them, I think. A district judge back in March of 2025 struck down 9 of the Senate law's provisions, including requiring Texans to provide identification number or social security number on mail-in ballot applications and to have them match the state's records. The judge also blocked provisions creating a process for curing defective ballots and requiring voters and those who assist them to fill out a ballot who assist them filling out a ballot to sign an oath swearing that they did not coerce the voter and to describe how they're related. The Fifth Circuit reversed the district court's ruling in its entirety, finding that the plaintiffs lacked standing on most of their complaints. The written opinion was strongly rebuked the lower court's decision, noting that appellate judges have, quote, reversed the district court on everything through 5 years of litigation. This is the most important part right here. The ruling also asserts that mail-in ballots have, quote, long been established, end quote, as prone to fraud. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has put on the official judicial docket or judicial record that mail-in ballot has long been established as prone to fraud. Is that like the what's that black guy that was allegedly deported that does like the you ever seen that guy? No. He'll like play like a video of somebody doing like the stupidest thing that there's an easy explanation on how to do it, and then he just like does it and he's like,
now I'm gonna have to search.
oh bro, he's got like 1 billion followers. He's like huge. And they deported him allegedly.
Well, if he was here illegally.
I agree. If you have 1 billion followers on TikTok, you're probably pretty well off. So let's talk about the Trump flight. I'm curious to get your
I love this.
I'm curious to get your take on this.
We talked about it when it was all going down.
The catering truck part.
Yeah. Oh god. Well,
we haven't talked about the catering truck
No,
yet.
not the catering truck, but we did talk about what if it was a diversion to begin with.
Of course, and I still think it is.
100%.
Even though Boss Man came out and said, no, I did what the military and the Secret Service asked me to do. I still don't believe it. But check this out. Caitlin Collins freaking out with this woman here, or this woman freaking out with Caitlin Collins.
I don't subscribe to the notion it was a decoy plane, because my question is this. If it was not safe for the president to be on that flight, how was it safe for the media to be on that flight? And to be lied to, not to be told the truth. Yeah, again, to be lied to. Because the thing is, it was the U.S. military flying the plane. The U.S. military does not put civilians unknowingly at risk.
I mean, she's saying all the quiet parts out loud there.
She is.
President was gone. He wasn't being threatened anymore, presumably. But the civilians on board were still under threat. And the U.S. military, under orders, flew that plane. Somebody needs to tell me why that's a legal order, because it's not what the U.S. military does. And I think the other issue that the New York Times, of course, is beginning to explore in detail is the Iranian capability in the region. What we know is U.S. intelligence has been watching very carefully. The Iranians are improving in their precision, in their accuracy of their weapons, in their mobility. In other words, their ability, even while under attack from the U.S. and the allies in the region, their ability to move around and plan and stage attacks. And their precision is something, and their accuracy of their weapons is something that the U.S. is going to have to deal with now for years to come in the region. This is
what? Have you seen any evidence of anything she just said right there at the end about Iran specifically? Have their weapons improved? Are we seeing like astronomical U.S. casualties or even Israeli casualties or whatever casualties?
Nope.
Are we seeing like attacks on our infrastructure? Are we seeing anything to suggest anything she said right there is true?
The infrastructure, I would say, there's an argument to be made there.
In what way?
And as far as the stuff that's been happening in our country, I'm not going to write that off to accidents. The ships crashing into bridges, the trains getting derailed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that was years ago. That's not a direct. I'm talking. She's saying that this is a direct result of Trump's actions. So from February 28th, 2026, when Trump initiated whatever this is called, Roaring Kitty, whatever. What did Benjamin Netanyahu call this? Roaring Lion or something like that. Since the initiation of the Mossad operation against Iran, have we seen anything suggesting what that woman said is true?
No. If you're putting it to that timeline, no. Now there is the letter memo that's floating around with Iran saying that it's going to attack on the soil of its enemies, and the interpretation of that is it's referencing us. So again, I haven't dug too deep into that yet. At the surface, I could say if she's referencing that letter, then yeah, I'll give her a little bit there. Outside of that, no, there's no evidence of it.
Okay, so going back to the catering truck, which you know, I played, you know, I clipped out the other last time we were on the show together back in July. Twice, you and I both were on the show together, and both times we called not just the Canary trap, but I directly called out that it was going to be a very high-ranking person in the military, probably stars on their chest or higher, that gets canned over this. Now, it turns out it was Frank Kendall, who was already kind of canned. He was, you know, he ran out of time as Secretary of the Air Force, but you don't get any higher than that. Well, you do, Secretary of War, or Secretary of Defense. You don't get any higher than Secretary of the Air Force. So I still think we're looking at the Canary trap here, and it's even more isolated now, and it's going to be somebody directly in the chain of command. It's going to be somebody that's still active duty. There's probably only 5 people that knew that this was going down, if that. What's your take?
I think there's going to be more fallout from this. Yes. If it was someone that high in the chain of command, it's not going to be disclosed that's why. And the reason being, we'll probably see them repositioned or moved, and we'll interpret it that way because we know. But the consequence of that optically would do more damage than would do good, because then you give, again, the lack of confidence in the administration, you know, at those important levels going into midterms, and that can get weaponized against them. So I think this is the highest that we're going to see, but I think we'll see a move that's made that's going to be like, nah, bro, like we know why that move was made.
Could the move have already happened? Could it have been General Costanza?
Yes.
Because I speculated when Costanza was relieved and not permitted to retire in 2 months, I had speculated that he was because there was another trap out there, and that was the U.S. is running short on munitions, and we have to choose between defending the homeland, meaning the U.S., and we have to choose between defending the homeland and Israel. And this came out of Eurocom. This came out of European Command. And when I read that article, I think it was by the Washington Post. And by the way, it's being exposed. Where are all these leaks coming from? Washington Post and New York Times and NPR. They're all coming from those 3 outlets. And so when I saw that, I said, Canary trap. Costanza gets fired a couple, little while later. But you got to remember, the catering truck story didn't come out until after that. But he was relieved after the catering truck event took place. So was that part of the Canary trap, or I've heard people say he was an alcoholic. I've heard all sorts of defamatory, if they're not true, things about his character and everything else. So
I'm more aligned with thinking that it was probably before. I think that one's more probable, because remember the other weird story that broke. Maybe it's been a week. Of that shoulder fired, I saw somebody put shoulder fired weapon system. It reminded me of this out there in New York, where we got to listen to the flight comms on, hey, just be aware if you get a surface a surface to air missile alert going on. You look at these moves, you look at the catering truck, and you look at that story. Is there communications letting them know we got your guy, because maybe there was going to be an attack on either end. Here's the thing. It was always at a minimum a leak operation, at a minimum. And here's the thing. Well, I probably won't say too much. What I will say is, when you look at when the new Air Force One left and when the secondary Air Force One left, that window right there tells you that there's more to the story than what's going on. And so
let's unpack. We're out of time, so let's unpack more of that tonight on Sit Rep. So tune in to Sit Rep. We'll talk more about this story. We'll talk more about the SPLC. We'll go through the indictment. I think that's going to be fantastic, and we'll probably have some shenanigan videos as well, because I've been trying to throw those in for a little comic relief and military relativity for people who did not serve, so they can see. And Alpha, what you got coming up, brother?
Sit Rep and Overwatch and the Guardian.
All right.
Yeah, it was like Thursday, right?
Yeah. I did I've got to do, because we had the issue with Rumble last week. So I've got to do a couple live streams to make up for my Rumble, for my 30 hours. So I did a live stream last night on my channel, rumble.com/CannCon, on the election stuff. And I'll probably be doing some more. We're going to have date night tomorrow night. We're finally in the top 10 of our 80s videos, finally in the top 10. We did 100 videos, Christy and I, and we're finally in the top 10. And then we got to decide on what we're going to do next for that show. But I'll probably do some more shows over the weekend. So rumble.com/CannCon. Let's get into some rants here. Wilson Chick. I vote for Ash Ep for PS press secretary. I know she would be fantastic and bust some balls. She will refrain in the professional setting from telling shills to eat a bag. I think so too. She will say, kindly ingest a satchel of Richards.
I still think she'll punch someone in the face.
No way. Ash would pull it off. CK Felt, it was a gestational surrogate. When you sign contracts with intended parents, you spend hours with people going over these things. What would you do if XYZ, etc. happened? Interesting. I did not know that you spent hours. I would imagine it's all documented and stuff. So, yeah. It's still a crazy situation, man. Flying Storm. Okay, Ash, I sent email again to reply. Make sure everything correct. GART revolution. I don't know what that means.
I have no idea.
CK Felt, happy to answer any questions about surrogacy. Parents may pay $300,000, but the surrogate doesn't see anything close to that. Of course not. Just another way where you can rip off, the just capitalism crony capitalism at its finest, like immoral capitalism. Like, it should be a deal between them. The attorneys will probably take like $150,000, and then the hospitals will take $100,000, and then the mother gets like $50,000. It's such bullshit. The person doing all the work, all the bureaucratic people that are forced to be involved in something they have no business being involved in. It's fucked up, man. But Lee Walden, I believe the parents are two gay guys and they got all the surrogate to have and carry the baby. How does that make any sense that the original parents are two gay guys? Are two gay guys, not TWO, but they're too gay. And we allow this is nuts. Lee Walden, we debunked that. They're not gay guys. It's a man and a woman. As far as we can tell, I didn't see any links refuting that. So there's that. But thanks, Lee Walden. Semper Paratus, brother. Appreciate you, man. I forgot to mention, we also have a bad mood hour, aka Badlands Story Hour, coming up at 2 p.m. Me and Ash will be going over Creature from Jekyll Island. We are on part 2. And did you see what the U.S. debt clock did this week?
I did not.
Oh my goodness! Check this out. Hold on. You got to see this. Do we still have it? Yeah, we do. So the U.S. debt clock has no affiliation with the government, so keep this in mind. Remember they had the devolution thing out a while back?
Yeah, that was so cool.
So if you click the secret window now, oh, it changed. It's silver now. Silver steamroller. When will we be able to get the price of silver loose and crush the Fed? And it's Treasury General Taylor saying we are still planning a civil revaluation as a pre-Fed takedown scenario. Interesting. The other day it said, what do we do when we abolish fiat currency? What's going to happen when we make currency backed by commodities? And it's like, it will crush any fiat currency that's out there. I was like, let's go. All right. Smash that thumbs up, guys. Tune in tonight, 9 p.m. as Alpha and I will have a good time as we always do. Brother, thank you for joining as always. Badlandsmedia.tv/events. Get your GART tickets. Las Vegas, Nevada, coming up September 17th. Is it the 17th?
Yep.
17th through the 19th. And you can save $10 by getting your tickets before Saturday, the 15th, before the 15th. Badlandsmedia.tv/events.
Get the VIP, show up early. And I just want to remind everybody, Mark's safe from losing gravity for 12 seconds.
Did we not do that? My back was looking forward.
No, 7 seconds. Yeah, 7 seconds.
My back was, I don't know if you saw, I had a huge back injury.
Yeah, you got to get that cold plunge, man. I'm serious, bro. I'm serious, man.
I've got the cold plunge. I've got the red light. I'm gonna be broke, man. I've got silencers. I'm gonna be broke.
The cold plunge, man. I'm telling you, if you deal with aches and pains and inflammation and all that, it is life changing, bro.
All right. Well, it's a pinched nerve, so it's my joints moving. So I got to get that right. So, all right, we'll see you guys tonight. God bless.